Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen June update. There is quite a lot going on this June in Star Citizen, and we're going to be covering it all in a variety of videos and live streams. There's loads to look forward to though, so firstly I want to look at the winner of my May giveaway. Congratulations to Aaron Reese. They won themselves a Hercules C2. We have a new giveaway for June, and that's for a Mercury Star Runner. It's my favourite ship and my go-to for giveaways. I was going to do a Constellation Taurus, but I mean, I love the Mercury Star Runner, and I just feel like I would be doing you a disservice, as I really, really love that ship. It brings all of you what you would want in a multi-role ship, allowing you to taste all of what Star Citizen has to offer, as well as data running in the future. I think we're going to... for the most part as well, for giveaways in the future, where sensible, giveaway ships that are available in-game now. That seems reasonable, right? All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that Mercury Star Runner is comment on any of my videos made during June 2021. More details in the comments below. Right, June, for Star Citizen. The next thing that's coming up is Alien Week. This is typically around the 12th of June, or at least it was last year, and celebrates first contact with Banu, and you'll notice that there wasn't much in the way of alien ships during Fleet Week. That's in part due to the portioning out of this to Alien Week, with various lore posts and alien focus posts and competitions and maybe some flare items if you do things, but there's always ship sales as well, and there are rumours that there is a new human Xi'an cargo ship that will go on concept sale as well. This would be the Xi'an cargo ship that was previously mentioned at CitizenCon 2019, and it's supposed to be like sort of medium-sized cargo ship, and yeah, that's a strong possibility that we could see that during Alien Week, maybe some other surprises as well. Alpha 3.14 is probably the biggest thing happening in June though. This is the Q2 patch, which is supposed to go live around the end of June, though typically there is a week or two of teething issues historically. You can expect an EVA CAR-T, then PTU test phase to start closer to the middle of this month. But once it's out of EVA, EVA CAR-T, I'm going to be covering that heavily on the channel. Now, I'm an EVA CAR-T member, and basically your NDA, non-disclosure agreemented, for the EVA CAR-T phase, so I can't talk about the specifics of the EVA CAR-T tests, or record any sort of gameplay or anything like that, or talk about the patch notes specifically for that EVA CAR-T patch as part of the NDA, so bear that in mind. We are, however, going to take a look at the expected patch contents after the next roadmap update, as this should give us a relatively solid view of what's actually going to make that patch. There was a bit of disappointment with medical gameplay getting pushed back out of the patch as well. It's going to get pushed back a quarter, that medical gameplay. But we still have some very important features here, including Orison and Crusader, lots of combat changes, new capacitor gameplay, missile operator mode. So this patch is going to be interesting. Hopefully handled well, hopefully not destroy combat, hopefully improve it, but we'll have to wait and see. We know an event, the Ninetales Lockdown, is starting at some point in the near future as well. They've also talked about an event called Infiltrator, but we just don't know when. It could be this month, it could be after 3.14's release, it could be with a 3.14.1 patch, it could get pushed back later. The Ninetales Lockdown, though, is sort of like the next dynamic event, following in the footsteps of Xenothreat. Expect various combat encounters and players working together to deal with large pirate fleets that potentially lock down stations and areas of space, and they mentioned in Xenothreat as well last time that the next sort of event they would have appropriate PvP and sort of counter gameplay there, so I suspect you probably will be able to help the Ninetales if you are so inclined, but we will have to wait and see. Videos and content wise, now Fleet Week this year looks to have raised around $12 million around that in funding so far from ship sales, which is pretty similar to last year's $13 million amount. Now, there is still a little bit of time left, as Free Fly doesn't technically end until the 3rd of June, although Fleet Week technically ends today at time of recording. I want to do a bit of an analysis of the successes and failures of Fleet Week compared to last year, talk about ship sale focused events, about Free Flies, about Star Citizen being a live gameplay product at the moment. And with that in mind, I do really want to know if you enjoyed or didn't enjoy the game during Fleet Week. Did you pick up a ship? Did you miss out because your F5 key pressing isn't as good as a bot's when you were talking about like buying a Kraken or a capital ship? Were you able to enjoy and play during Fleet Week unhindered, or were you plagued by bugs? I just really want to know what your experiences were. Star Citizen leaks have reported that CIG are actively banning players that cheat or are bad actors, or maybe even if you mod Star Citizen and they detect it. I suspect that would be more invasive mods, or mods that are used to spawn stuff in game or whatever. I want to do a bit more of a sort of deep dive into what CIG mean by cheating, what's going on with TOS, modding, all that sort of jazz. What sort of Star Citizen cheating do we see at the moment? What's the future of sort of cheat protection and griefing and all this sort of stuff hold for Star Citizen? So I just wanted to talk a bit more about that, because obviously cheating occurs in any game, gold selling occurs in any game, exploiting occurs in sort of every game, and that happens huge amounts in MMOs. How is Star Citizen going to handle that? What's their current policies? If you want to mod for the game, are you going to get randomly banned when you're just messing around? Things like that. So I want to talk about a load of different things there. How viable is it to get the ship of your dreams in-game without spending money as well? So how pay to win is Star Citizen? Well, we're going to be talking about monetization versus grind in another video, and the joy as well as the viability of getting your ships in-game now and in the future. Because I think that largely it's worth grabbing a sort of starter gameplay package, maybe an Avenger Titan, and then grinding for most of the ships in game. But it's going to be dependent on whether you want to chuck some extra cash to CIG for development of their game, or if you've got a sort of in love with a ship, or if you're subscribing to more of a pay-to-win model and you're actually like, well, I do want this ship, I do want to start with an advantage. So I want to talk a little bit about that and how that's evolved over several years, and how the ship sales have evolved as well. Homesteads and bases. They've been talked a lot about recently, but we don't really know exactly what's planned for the short, medium, and long term. It's a bit unclear, and CIG have talked a lot about stuff previously. Lots of stuff's evolved, and we've had some more recent updates about what CIG are currently working on for the colonial outposts and homesteads and bases and local inventory and customizable hubs and things like that. So I want to talk about what has previously been talked about, what's currently being talked about, and how that might evolve in a focused homesteads and bases video. Star Citizen is an alpha, but also maintains a live game environment. So I wanted to look at some major bugs, issues, and short-term gameplay improvements that I think that CIG should be able to put in easily, that I think would actually really help the game. Stuff that I think should go in ASAP, that could be put in a 3.13.2 patch, or could be put in 3.14. And sort of ask the question, why hasn't this been fixed yet for certain elements of the game? Obviously, some of the stuff's going to be, well, they don't have the time, or there's underlying issues, or a plethora of other reasons, but I think it's still worth poking some little holes in Star Citizen's development, especially when they are trying to maintain a live, semi-polished alpha, and it's sort of like it is at odds with each other, having a live game environment, which is also alpha, and then releasing these major patches each quarter, which when they sort of like do the media for them, well, they go, yeah, look, this is a beautifully polished game. Well, it's not. It is in some areas, and it's very pretty and very cool, but I sort of wanted to talk more about that. Something else I want to talk about is the changes to the content that CIG provide us when it comes to game development. So obviously we haven't seen much in the way of Squadron 42 updates, and that's by design, but how has the sort of like roadmap evolved? How has the sort of video stuff and the AMAs and other things that CIG give us, the monthly reports, evolved? Are subscribers that largely pay for that content getting their money's worth? Roadmap updates. We're going to be taking a focused look at the patch contents of each patch up to 3.17, and probably in individual videos. Though 3.17 is pretty small at the moment, we don't know much of what's going in that patch yet, but we know a little. I want to do some feature focuses of specific feature sets and groups that are on the progress tracker as well, talking a little bit more about things like animals in game. We know about the Boreal Stalker, we know about Space Cows, we know about Pyro Crab, we know that they're working on getting these in game. AI Blades, NPC crew. When are we going to see the ability to have our ship in-game and have it run with a load of NPCs and us on board commanding them all? And what form will that take? And we know some of that, we don't know other bits, and there's going to be lots of different things, like certain ships are going to be able to slave their turrets, and certain ships are going to be able to fully automate with these AI blades, but some won't. And I also want to take a look at various new gameplay plans and what we're sort of getting in terms of medical gameplay, what we're getting in terms of salvage in the sort of short and medium term, because they are sort of iterating on it and stepping it. That's not just a big drop of bam, here's salvage. It's, well, this is hull stripping salvage, bam, at the end of the year. That's the current plan anyway. There's a huge amount of stuff that Cloud Imperium are currently working on, and I want to shine a flashlight on some of those short and mid-term plans. That's something I really enjoy. There are a load of ships that I want to do a deeper dive on as well. My ship buyer's guides, they need an update for a lot of ships. There are things like the Javelin and Idris and Bengal that we know quite a lot about now, and it's worth doing a big update on and looking at these giant cavalry ships, along with things like the Redeemer. That's obviously changed hugely. things like the Constellation Taurus. How's that changed? What's that going to be like? And we do know that there's various other ship updates that are worth looking at with the Vulture and the Hull C and the Corsair that are being worked on, and the Banu Merchantman. Some will be general sort of update ship compilation videos. Others will be more focused on one ship for the entire video or series of ships. You've got all the usual stuff as well this month, so summaries of both the monthly reports for the Persistent Universe and Squadron 42. They will be with us in the next couple of days, and they are a wealth of development information, and pretty much the only way we get Squadron 42 updates at the moment. You'll get weekly news and official video summaries from us. Zin's enjoying doing a regular lore series at the moment, and actively pokes me to release them. I think it's doing pretty well on the channel, especially as it's something we don't normally do, so we're going to continue to do that. I think the next sort of focuses are going to be on the Pyro Nyx system, the Xi'an, Alien Week, stuff like that over the next month. Some other bits and bobs. Me and Zin have been playing Eco recently, although we've stopped. Now, there was some server and crash issues that we encountered that sort of disrupted our playthrough, and then Conan Eyes of Scepter, or Scepter, however you pronounce that, was released properly, actually no longer early access, so we started playing that with a small group of us, and we got our asses handed to us during the first purge. I really love sort of PvE co-op games that do it well, like Valheim, like Conan. They've got a large place in my heart, and so we're doing a bit of a playthrough through that. You might see a little bit of a diary from me for people that are YouTube members, so people that have clicked that join button underneath my videos. It's basically like being a Patreon on YouTube, pretty much, for my channel, and being a Patreon, being a YouTube member. That gives you some exclusive content each month, and really helps the channel. Although me and Zin are pretty lackluster at getting that exclusive content out, but we will be doing it. We'll be trying to get out something every couple of weeks at least, and you do have a chance to help evolve the channel and get in contact with me more easily. Although, I mean, I'm pretty easy to contact anyway. Just email me, rich@boredgamer.co.uk, and I'll probably answer you or get me on my Discord. Health-wise, I've been on the keto diet for a while, lost loads of weight. However, over the last week, I've smashed up my diet with a hammer, and I've just been eating loads of delicious random food that I'm not supposed to, which has been pretty bad. There is an amazing Asian restaurant that's close to me that started doing delivery, and it's sort of like top-tier restaurant food directly into my mouth. That's dangerous. I just need to get a handle on things there. I've had a pain in my side that's been worrying me for a couple of months now, but I've had a load of tests from the doctor, and they don't think I'm in any form of imminent danger, and it's probably just IBS, like quite genuinely. It's not a mega painful pain or anything. It was just on and off painful, a little bit painful in my side. I'm getting older. I do have the tendency to obsessively worry, so meh. It's one of the many downsides of being both anxious and bipolar, and although I'm pretty good at managing it, and I'm very lucky that my form of that sort of stuff is very mild compared to some people's, yeah, it's still, you know, something that I'll sit in bed about and go, yeah, sometimes you obsessively worry. I think that's just a human thing as well, though. I will go back to my doctor if anything changes, though, so don't worry. I've got a handle on it. Mental and physical health-wise are prioritised over most of the other things in my life. And something that's been very good for my mental health, actually, recently, is we're able to start playing D&D again around my mate's house, and we started playing board games regularly. I'm probably going to start going to the pub, which that will be amazing. I had my coronavirus jab as well, my first one. I hate needles, and it was done in an instance, though. Didn't even feel sick afterwards, although the next day my arm was bruised for about a day. I think they're going to contact me about my second jab. I need to work out what's going on with that. I don't actually know. I had the Pfizer one, if anyone's interested. I'll be streaming a couple of times a week, talking about Star Citizen news, sometimes playing a bit, but mostly answering questions about the game, its roadmap, and what I reckon, and talking to chat, that sort of stuff. I just like to talk about what's happened recently and just be responsive to whatever people want to talk about. Zin really enjoyed streaming during Fleet Week, so we are going to be streaming the game a bit more. I'm going to start doing off at like a couple of times a month, just more focused gameplay streams, but we'll evolve that and see what's going on with that from like 3.14 onwards. Maybe it might become viable to do some much more solid gameplay that's not going to just fizzle out or become boring, or it's actually doable. I don't want it to constantly be crash prohibitive. I want to be able to sit down and play and actually experience the game, and with small gameplay loops or enclosed specific things in Star Citizen, that's quite easy because you're avoiding certain bugs and stuff. But if we want to sit down and grind to get how viable is it to get a capital ship in Star Citizen, for example, when you've just bought a starter package? Well, viable over a period of time, but if the game prohibits you from doing bounty hunting because it's broken or cargo hauling or whatever, then you might have a worse time grinding to get that ship. And obviously we know there's going to be wipes every so often and things like that as well. So I just want to talk about that sort of thing while playing the game and have some silly things that me and Zin can actually do, and that will be fun without us having to think too much. I'm going to be shilling this month again for NordVPN and continue to shill for JR Fabrication. So VPNs and Star Citizen model ship kits. I'm going to poke Shadow later this month and see what's going on with them and see what's viable. Are they something that I want to shill for in the future? I hope so, because I really like their product, and we'll talk more about that later, I suppose. But boom, that's it for this Star Citizen June channel update. There is a load to look forward to. Roll on the Nine Tails Lockdown, Alien Week, and Alpha 3.14. But what do you think? Are you excited for a new patch, or does it only really bring bugs and sorrow for you? When do you think we'll see the Nine Tails Lockdown? Will we see 3.14 delays with that live patch? Do you think we're going to see the Xi'an cargo ship during Alien Week? Do you think the changes to combat in 3.14 will be terrible, or do you think they're going to be fantastic, or a mixture of the two? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Oh, what's this? I just found all your search history online. You filthy boy, buying spaceships and going on Ship Hub. Zin, show a picture of a sexy ship or something. You should have used NordVPN. It's a VPN, obviously, and it has my seal of approval because I shill for them. Use the links below to get a discount and help protect your data, identity, privacy, and to help with online accessibility. I'm shilling for spaceships today. Do you like building spaceships? Of course you do. JR Fabrication make officially licensed Star Citizen products and Airfix-like model kits. Do you want an Arrow fighter? Maybe a Freelancer? Some Cyclone little buggies? Dragonflies? Oh my, you can buy them and build them, or just add them to your pile of shame. You want dioramas of ships and vehicles? They've got them too, and they continue to add more to their range. Follow the link down below to jrfabrication.co.uk/board to see all of the wonderful products they have on offer, and use the code BoredInvictus to also get some exclusive Fleet Week recruitment propaganda A3 art prints with each of your orders. Ooh. Thank you so much to my channel members who have pressed the join button below my videos, and my Patreons as well. Going the extra mile really, really helps the channel. Say thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Consider becoming a channel member or Patreon as well, and maybe you'll get some poorly photoshopped naughty spaceship shots. Ooh, saucy. Thanks for watching and all your support.